All right, Grizz Nation, we are back. We are Fight on Montana podcast here, and we have a hard show to talk about, but we've got some things to say about the loss to UC Davis. But before we get into that, guys, we've got some other Grizz sports to kind of recap you on. Unfortunately, it was a hard weekend for Grizz sports. The lady soccer team, they lost in the semifinals.
Dang.
In penalty kicks. So it went into overtime with penalty kicks. They lost to Sac State 4-3 in penalty kicks. And so Sac State went to the championship and they won against Idaho in penalty kicks, which is they've won. Sac State had to win 3 games all the way through, and each of their games were penalty kicks.
That's crazy that they won on all penalty kicks. Wow.
Yeah. So they earned the bid, and I
wonder if that's ever happened where a team's won 3 games on penalty kicks.
I don't know.
It seems unusual to me. I don't watch enough soccer though, but it seems unusual.
Yeah. So that's a sad thing because it was another great season. That was the only Big Sky loss for the Grizz this year. The only loss. And so kind of hard to take, but next year, it's still going to be the tournament's still going to be in Missoula. So we've got that to hold on to. And hopefully we get back to those winning ways. So
yeah, they had a great season. I mean, other than that one thing, that's playoff.
Yep.
Any type of playoffs. You never know what could happen. So
well, and it's 2 years in a row. You know, you lose right in the semifinals. It's hard. You know,
it's rough.
Yeah. Volleyball. You know, they closed out. You know, they're closing out really well. They got 2 wins this last weekend. They beat Eastern Washington in Cheney, and then they beat Idaho in Moscow.
Well, that's
both
good.
both on 3-0. So they are up to 3 wins. They are in Dahlberg Arena this Thursday against Sac State, and then they will play Portland State that Saturday. So they will finish up the Big Sky Conference against Montana State on November 22nd in Bozeman. So, yeah. So they will.
I guess if people are going down to the brawl, maybe they can go watch that too.
There you go. You got that. Yep. So, let's move into men's basketball. The men, I got it here.
They've been winning, I believe. I think I've been seeing some.
Yeah.
W's
So they.
on the men.
Yeah. So they played Friday, and they lost.
I guess I was wrong.
Well, no. So the last time that we were recording, they were playing while we were recording.
They won
92-61.
Yeah.
They then went to Oregon and played Oregon, and they lost 79-48. They had a game last night, which it wasn't televised because I believe it's Northwest Indian College. I think it's like a.
That's the game I was thinking of that they'd won.
Yeah. It was like 94-44.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Which really sucks not seeing that game because I believe they wore their Native American jerseys.
They did, yeah. I saw some pictures on Facebook. I think.
Yeah, which man, those have to be on TV.
Oh yeah, well, that's why I mean, we came out in the black jersey for football, but there was those rumors we talked about it. I was really hoping they were going to come out in those, but oh well.
Yep. So. They've got a busy week this week of traveling. They will head down to Knoxville, Tennessee, and play Tennessee. They are number 11 ranked in the nation. They will be there Wednesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is on the SEC network, though, since it's an SEC school, so you won't be able to watch that unless you have the SEC network.
I've got that.
There you go. They will then go play the following Monday, the 18th, in Logan, Utah, at Utah State at 7:00.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah. And then they've got some home games where you guys can catch the Grizz that next Thanksgiving kind of weekend.
Still coaching at Utah State?
What's that? He's at Washington.
Washington now. Okay. Wasn't he at Utah State, though?
He was at Utah State last year.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Spent 1 year there, and then did really well, and then he Vamanosed over to Washington.
Gotcha.
Yep. So the women. Let's go on to the women.
Well, I know one women's game they played Gonzaga in Spokane because there was a lot of Grizz fans there, and my mom and my brother actually went to that game.
Oh, that's awesome!
Some selfies and stuff to watch the Lady Grizz play Gonzaga. So
that's awesome. They actually wound up losing that game 82-69. Gonzaga, I think, was like a Sweet 16 team last year, so they are a good team.
Again, it feels like our basketball teams are doing the whole iron sharpens iron thing and playing tough opponents, which could, I think, will benefit us going into the Big Sky Conference play.
Yeah, yep, it will. They then played Southeastern University. It was kind of cool. They played a doubleheader. So the women played first, and then the men played right after last night. They 72-60 against Southeastern. They will play Cal Poly Thursday, and so in Dahlberg Arena. So if you guys have nothing to do, Thursday they'll be at home, and then that Sunday they play Washington at home. I don't know how they got Washington to come to Dahlberg Arena, but they did.
They're going to Missoula?
Yeah.
That never happens like early in the season like this. We never get those big schools. That's cool.
Yeah. So I think the coach has some pull because that's crazy that Washington would come to Missoula.
Yeah, it is. There's got to be some connection there, or like.
Yeah, I think there is because.
Yeah.
It might, if they beat them, it might be the last time.
Yeah, well, that's usually what happens. It's just like, in like football, ever since we beat UW that time, it's hard to get FBS schools to, yeah. So
their schedule is ridiculous. So they've already played Gonzaga. They'll play Washington. They'll play North Dakota, Minnesota, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Michigan State. They'll play Tulsa. They'll play Tulsa at the end of it, and then they get into conference. And so they have some other yeah, it's crazy. They play Cal Poly in there too, and Evergreen State, but those are going to be some tough games. So
yeah, those are going to be some tough games.
Yeah. So you might not see wins, but man, you're literally iron sharpens iron, like you said, Luke.
Yeah.
You might not see it right away, but man, come the Big Sky Conference, you're truly going to be tested.
Yeah, I think it's just going to make us even that much more better going into conference play, playing all these tough games and stuff. And then, why not? If your plan is to get to the tournament, play teams like the men playing number 11 Tennessee. What a great litmus test to get before you get into conference play and then have that eventual tournament spot. So yeah.
And I think because of the way that they do that and the way that things are structured, I think they have to play some of those just because I think it helps with coaching salaries. I believe the way that they have it structured. I could be totally wrong.
I think they're money games like football. We get paid.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it's not like as lucrative as the football is, but it's still funding for the programs. So
exactly. So
speaking of we're going to talk about Portland State. That's why they were playing Boise and they were playing. Who else did they play? Oregon or I don't know.
Yeah, they played you're talking about Portland State?
Yeah, they played Washington State. They played Boise State. Like they were playing this whole
Chattanooga.
Well, that's an FCS game, but like those two FBS games they played, those are money games for them.
Yeah.
No one had whooping cough then.
No.
So.
No, they didn't. No, they did not.
You're getting paid. You need to be now.
We don't care if you have whooping cough. You're going to get some money on those ones.
Exactly.
Oh, well, that's all I had on the Grizz recap, guys, for that. It is not the way that we wanted to end that awesome, spectacular night. It was awesome to see. It was a little bit cold, so you could really definitely see the cold in the air.
Yeah.
It was packed.
Well,
It was on ESPN two.
ESPN two is loving our crowd and the whole vibe and everything in that first half.
Yep.
And with all those false starts, it was just like,
yeah.
I couldn't believe that offensive tackle giving the double bird right there to that
guy.
Yeah.
I was just
like, and the ref was right there. I was like, you're not going to flag him again? Usually, if that was our guys, boy, that he'd be out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So guys, we will lose a hard one, 30-14, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, 14 points in a home loss is probably the lowest scoring for us in a loss.
Yeah, the ESPN guys kept bringing that up. This team usually scores 40 points a game, or like averaging. It's like, we know.
And this is probably the biggest. I believe it was the biggest differential, worst loss since we last played UC Davis in 2018, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we've only lost to them one other time. That's it.
Yeah,
this is our second loss to UC Davis, and it's just it was really frustrating. 11 night games, we've won all of them. It was just like when they were saying all those stats, I'm like, oh my god, quit jinxing us. Like I was just
I know, right?
That stupid stuff was entering my head. Like, come on, we got this. And
we
were talking before we got on here, Adam and I were, and it's like we were in it into the third.
Yeah, halfway through the third.
All these possibilities, and couldn't pull it off. And I've been thinking about this all day, and to me, it felt like this game was like death by 1,000 paper cuts, because we just kept making stupid mistakes. Like, I think it was Keelan White that stepped out of bounds and then caught that awesome pass in bounds.
Yep.
He never does that. Like, Cole Grossman comes back and we're all pumped about it, and he drops an easy catch for most receivers or tight ends.
Yeah.
And then when they did, I didn't agree with this. When they put Ayat in, I thought Fife was rolling, and I was like, okay, just leave him for a while. Like, it felt like he was playing well.
Yep.
They put Ayat in, and he looked nervous all of a sudden. Now he got going then, and he started playing well, and then they kept, I don't know,
kept on pulling them, and this is literally, the players didn't do themselves justice with the way that they played, right?
Yeah,
but
there was so many.
This goes on the coaching staff.
Well, no, so that's what I'm saying. Like I say it again, that death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah,
not just the players. The players were making unusual mistakes. Again, all of a sudden we're big plays on defense when we're out of position. Otherwise, the defense I thought played really well. Then few stupid mistakes.
Yeah,
we held Larson pretty well, but then our quarterback play, neither one could get in a rhythm. And I put down the coaches too. They were missing coverages. Eli felt like he just couldn't get going. Osmo couldn't get going. The O-line's missing blocks and not calling the right coverages. And the coaching staff, on top of that, trying to play these stupid games when they're rotating in, like, oh, no, run our guy out slowly and run him back. I know what they're trying to do there.
Oh, yeah.
But damn it, our guys were out of position.
Yeah.
It was like our defense wasn't ready. They were sitting there ready. So as soon as that ref backed off, snapping, our guys weren't ready. And that's what I think helped our coaching staff, helped our guys be out of position.
Yeah.
So it's on everybody.
And
only people there at the game that played it perfect was the fans in the first half, but then they all left too, and it was like, God, they could have used you guys instead of drinking in the second half. It's like you should have been all tanked already as it was, and just stay in there. Is my opinion.
And that's another thing. We need to get to, but let's look at this. Let's go into some of the kind of the.
Sorry, I was frustrated.
No. We'll get into that. We need to get into all that. But let's kind of look at some statistics here, guys.
Okay.
22 first downs to 15 first downs for us. Rushing. Let's talk about the rushing attack that we have had the last couple of games, man. It has not been there.
No, since Northern Colorado. It wasn't great against them.
And I know Gilman. I know Gilman is kind of not at 100%. I know that.
Yeah.
But man alive, we got 77 yards, 2.9, and they got 3.4, and they still got 130 yards. They had 11 more run attacks, but that's another thing. We only had 27 attempts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is ridiculous with what we have in the backfield.
With our backfield,
Like, why are you limiting to 27 attempts?
Yeah, run the damn ball, and not the
Exactly.
fancy, just run it down. I mean, the ESPN guys were saying that. They're like, why aren't they just running the ball down their throat and trying to do that?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know number 75 was like an immovable force in there. Like he's all a 375.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw him playing out there. Like he was eating up double teams. Well, that's okay. Fine. Whatever way he goes, bounce there. Gilman and Osmo can cut and read holes. But instead, we were running like these zone blocking schemes and missing guys and allowing people to come through and blow up the damn play. It's like,
and we could not.
We shouldn't be doing.
We could not go out and beat on the side. They were beating us to the side. They were too quick for us.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but they were too quick because we would get and cut our guys out there, and they would have 3 or 4 guys over there. They were very quick. Linebackers.
They were flying to the ball. Yeah.
And so I was just going to say that too, Luke, because we should have been running up the middle a whole lot more.
Yeah.
A whole lot more.
I don't know. They made us look like crap.
Like made us look like silly.
I mean, really, the fact that you think about it, like in the third, the fact that we were 14-13, like we still had all these chances. It was like there were so many chances, and we just make constant mistakes. It was just like, God, again, are we going to get another chance? Are we going to get another chance? So we get another chance, and then we do something dumb again, whether it was coaches or players just not thinking right, or and that's where getting into the quarterbacks like Ayat there when he made that really bad interception. It felt to me like felt like all of a sudden the game was on him and he was trying to force a play. And that's what happened. He forced it. And then Fife, he did the same thing all of a sudden because all of a sudden these guys are trying to be heroes. And that's where I'm like, I pick somebody. Like quit with this unless he throws like 2 or 3 picks in a row, then pull the guy and put the other guy in because we have a good backup. Either way, whichever way you go, I don't care. Pick one guy, go with him, and stick with him. Because like again, I felt as much as I'm an Ayat guy, I feel like Fight was rolling at first. Like we were driving down, the offense was feeling good, and then like when you pull him and put Ayat in, it can just throw the momentum off and the cadence, everything. And I don't know.
I don't agree with it. I think that guys, there's an awesome article by Zach McKinnell from
he's writing for
he's writing for the Sports Illustrated section for the FCS. He's also the Blue Bloods podcast. He's also the co-host with Sam Herder as well.
Oh, I didn't realize he was on Blue Bloods and all that. I don't.
Yeah, he's the Blue Bloods podcast is his. Gotcha. So that's his podcast. And so it does a really good article and kind of going into the stats of why what we're doing and kind of why.
Yeah, he breaks down both quarter Ayat and Fife, and in the end, Fife's got the better numbers right now.
He does. He does. And I think you kind of look at that and say, well, he did play against some teams that were horrible at defense as well.
I thought about that too. Is like there were some games he played the full game and it was against some pretty bad. But this is going to start affecting. If it already hasn't, it's going to start affecting these guys. Well,
in their heads.
There was that tweet after the game from Fife that a lot of people were talking. It's gone now. He deleted it.
Yeah,
it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it was hard to interpret what he's trying to say there.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me is that mentality. It's like, I know these guys are pretty mentally tough, but at the same time, they're just early 20-year-olds. And, stuff could, it's like we talked about before. There's a guy could have a bad game because his girlfriend broke up with him.
Oh, yeah.
There's, or you flunked the test and you're worried your parents are going to kill you or something. And, or coach is going to kill you because you didn't do, there's a lot of things that can attribute and affect your mentality playing the game. And this not choosing one, I feel like is starting to affect them both. Like, when am I going to get, even if they're telling them you're going to get this and you're going to get this.
Yeah.
Okay. You get those. And that's what it felt like when they pulled Fife. It was like, well, we told them both, this is what you're going to do. Like our plan was to play Ayat here. And then after that, it's by feel. Well, it just snowballed on him is what it felt like to me and got out of hand.
Okay. So the 2 quarterback system, usually is done when you have like North Dakota State does it, right? You have Cam Miller, and then you have that Peyton, whatever that they have. That's the running quarterback, right? Our guys are pretty much the same.
That's I just actually it's funny you're saying that. I just got a text from a guy who just finished the article, and he goes, "Well, maybe it's my lack of knowledge, QB knowledge, but I don't see a big difference between the two. Actually,
there isn't.
There isn't. Yeah, I was just like, that's a good point.
Ayat is a little bit better of a runner, and Fife is a little bit better at throwing, but not by much because he can't read coverage very well. Neither of them can do coverage right now.
A lot of coverages, which then goes to the point of, are we not developing them?
No,
like that. I feel like that's coachable, like where you should be coaching them. We got Scott Linehan, NFL guy, Brent Pease. We got all these like smart guys. How?
But are they not allowing them to?
Yeah, I don't know,
because that's a whole bigger topic that we could probably go into that we kind of went into last year at this breaking point, which I think we're still just having those same conversations.
Yeah,
we went on this great run, but we're still having those conversations of, hey, are we developing players?
Well, people are throwing it out there this year too because Vidlak's tearing it up down there in Stephen Boston. Now, I will admit the opponents that he's playing against are not near, I think, as good as some of the defenses in the
No.
And that makes a big difference. But at the same time, how is he so much better? I mean, like night and day better. It's like, whoa, which then makes you think like, I was high on Chris Brown, and it just, to me, it felt like we were like so stuck in our system, and he has to play our system instead of playing to your quarterback's talents.
Yep.
The only person that feels like we've played to their talents is Dalton Sneed, to me.
Like, well, yeah, but his talents kind of already fit what we were trying to do.
Well, I know, but that's just it. It just fit him and stuff. And so, like, that offense fit him. So then when we throw Chris Brown in, it was like, oh, crap. He doesn't like, well, no crap.
Yeah.
He's not that type of quarterback. It's so, yeah. I sometimes I think the coaches need to get out of their own way and be like, what plays could work best for our guys? Like, what are they best at? Let's run those.
I like this coaching staff with all of what they've done. Literally, it can't be all of them saying, yeah, this is what we should do. Like, this has to be made by Bobby Hauck that says, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. And these other guys are not having the ability to say, no, we can't do this, which is crazy.
I think that's true because it's just like a business. Like, in the business I'm in, I'm one of the leaders. And like, if our director comes and says, hey, you guys are doing this, I may not agree with it, but guess what? We're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and I might say, hey, I think we should do this. Well, nope, this is what we're going to do. So man up and,
But we now have, and we kind of said this, like, we won't see how much we've improved until this week. Well, this week happened and I actually think our defense got a little bit better.
I agree. I think our defense did play better.
Our offense has gotten worse.
Yeah. It's gone the different directions for both.
And so, I just do not get the feel aspect. How do you go by feel? Like, it's so asinine to me to say, okay, this,
I think
you go with the hot hand.
I think there's a little BS behind that, just given media stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, he's not going to say anything to give anything to the media, but at the same time, there is who in their right mind would be running a QB in trying to develop him like this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, they'll say, well, playing time gives him the experience and helps with that, and it's like, well, you still got to win games, man. Like, that's why games like Cal Poly and Northern Colorado are on your schedule, so then you can work in
exactly.
But games like this, where you're playing, the number 4 team in the nation at home on the national stage.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that we had a couple like a recruit commit today. I was like, oh wow, after a loss, that surprises me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
and you look at it, and you look at last year, right? We had a so-called 2 quarterback system. Well, they lost and they got their ass handed to them, and that woke them up. This year,
we went to the 1 quarterback system then.
Yeah, So this year, I don't think that's going to happen. I think
I don't think so either.
Hauk is so determined to say, "I'm right."
Yeah.
This isn't a what's
Feels like
best
a
for
pride thing,
the
right?
kids. It's what's best for his ego and what he wants to do. He wants to be right so he can prove to other people that this is how it is.
Yeah.
It's
And like
ridiculous.
there's a lot of teams that, like you said, run 2 QB systems, but like
Yeah.
for instance, the Neighbors when they had the whole McGee and
Yep.
and Malott thing, well, they were two totally different people.
Yep.
Like this is why it doesn't make sense to me in our system because they're the same quarterback virtually. Like you said, one throws the ball a little better, one runs it. I mean, definitely K. Lee runs it better. Like
Oh yeah,
that
very much.
freaking dive into the end zone flip play, that was
Yeah.
badass. Like
Yeah.
that is freaking cool. And like, and he was playing with 5. I mean, like when he's
Oh
getting
yeah.
up, he's fired up, he's
Yep.
getting the team fired up. But at the same time, Fife is too. Like when he's making plays, he's fiery and stuff. Like they're both good leaders, I think. And it's like, so like what worries me is you got part of the team that's because you see who their favorite targets are.
Oh yeah.
Part of the
Definitely.
team split on this guy and part of the team split on this guy. And that's what worries me that we've got this split in there that's causing this this
Riff.
shit in the locker room.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This
Riff.
crap in the locker room
Yep.
that isn't making a good cohesive like unit and team. Like they
Yeah.
need to all be gelling together right now. And we always say, our teams played the best ball in November. Well, that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
By coaches and everybody. It was just terrible.
Well,
So
and you see some, Bergen is not healthy. He went out. I thought it was bad, but he came back.
he
Really
came back.
played
That
some great.
surprised me. I thought he
Yeah.
was more dinged up. Now White looks banged up.
White looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so
Kampfloff was back. He was, we thought that last week.
Yeah.
He was playing, so that was
good. Fife really bothered me with one of the running plays that he did. He does not. I don't know if he doesn't have the ability to run or get the extra yard, or if he just does not want to get hit.
When he dove down there.
Or he dove down and then he was just running out and he just went out of bounds. I'm like, what are you like?
Which surprises you in a Bobby Houck team because he's one that you don't. And then you see Ayat just hurling himself,
his own body.
I mean, he's littler. I'm going, oh God, I was a big dude. I'm like, come on, because we're used to Clifton last year, lowering the shoulder and hitting people. And you said that to me during the game. You're like, is he hurt or something? Because it was weird.
It was really
such a weird game. The whole feel was like it was like we weren't awake. I'm like, where's the team at? Wake up, guys! Come on, we got a game to play here. Like, and not everybody, but there was just like if one person is not with it, it can screw the whole thing up. Like that one touchdown pass they had, I think it was Ryder Meyer. Like I was like, oh crap, he's out of position. He fell for the run. The guys, and then there's a touchdown. It's like, again, not doing your 111th. That one person, because of the way we're running things, if that one person doesn't do a job, there's no one to back you up, and then there's a giant hole.
Well,
that's frustrating too.
Plow, I heard him speak after the game, and he said that they had two of those plays that one went to Larison and one where it would be going back to across the field. And Hastings called that. It was supposed to go to Larison, and Hastings changed it at the line. What he saw,
knew our film, saw it. I mean,
and
we're putting stuff on film. Guys are fighting to see it and going, "Oh, we can expose them here."
And then what they did also this last game is they went to one word like this is the play.
Yeah.
They went to like almost 4 times as many of counts as they usually do. Usually they only do I think that he said 5 or 6, and they did 20 plays where they were one word, get down, let's do it. Because they knew that if they got going in fast speed, that we couldn't get our defense set up. Right. And if it was successful, it would take the crowd out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And
smart coaching by their
that would like this game just showed how much our coaching staff got out coached.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah, well, I know we're not supposed to talk about QB club, but one thing Bobby did say was he was like he did own it in there. He's like, look, there's a lot of this is on me. I just want which I agree with. I'm like, yep, it's true. So
but there's a point of like doing that and then doing something about it.
yeah.
This could have been something that could have been done a lot, like a couple weeks ago, when you could have said, "Hey, we're going to go with one guy, and then we're going to get him all these reps."
Yeah, exactly.
Against these two lesser opponents.
Yeah,
So that we can get better.
and then put the other guy in once you're up by 28.
Yeah, exactly.
Like let him run it through the third, like play 3 quarters and then go, okay,
yeah.
Now other guy, you get to play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of this back and forth, no rhythm, and different cadences and different the way they hand the ball. I mean, we're lucky we haven't had bad handoffs and stuff too, because they're all. I mean, there's just those slight little differences. Like one guy hands it a little higher, one guy hands it a little lower.
Yep.
Thank good we get good running backs, but that can cause like transitions and same with our offensive line. Like their cadences, I'm sure aren't exact, and so that can throw like people off and have you jump and stuff.
Well, and Klimzak is, I believe, a left-handed too, so that kind of throws it off as well with the quarterback.
So, it's just I don't know. There's so much that was frustrating about that game. Like, I think part of it's why it's so frustrating is it didn't feel like we just got our asses kicked. It was a slow death. Like it's like, oh my gosh, we have all these chances and we just couldn't capitalize on anything and just made mistake after mistake and in the end it ate us and we lost.
So and I told Luke this during the game and he was like, have some faith.
I know.
When
I'm an optimist, like at all times. I'm like, we can still do it. Chip in a chair, man. We got this.
And I'm like, gosh dang it, we suck. It was third quarter, midway through the third quarter. We had just scored. It was 14-13. I think they got a couple penalties. They were back in the I think it was the north end zone. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, well, I think it was the north end zone.
Yeah. And it was like 3rd and 20 or 3rd and 20.
Yeah.
And they throw an out route to Larison. And he gets like 15 and he hurdles the guy. And it's like a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 and they get it. And I'm like, well, there's the game right there.
That was the play. That was the play right there. And I was
because that just broke the back of the defense. They go and score, and then they do another 10 points, 17 unanswered points.
Well, and then our defense, with as well as they played, with our offense, have kept giving up the ball.
Yeah,
there's interceptions and not. That's so demoralizing to their defense because you're just like, oh my god. All right.
Well, there's like 2 of them that they could have caught and intercepted that were right there.
Yeah,
in their hands.
Yeah, God. Yeah. There's just so many chances that we had, and it's like that's why again, like that. I'll say it more, that death of 1,000 paper cuts, because it was just like this mistake, that mistake, this mistake, that, and but they all add up to be one giant gash, and you're bleeding to death.
Well, and it's crazy to look at these numbers and say, "Wow, really? That's all they got? They only got 130 yards rushing."
Well, that's just it. We actually did a good job shutting down Larison.
Yeah. Like, they only had 256
games all year.
Yeah. They only had 256 passing yards.
Yeah.
So they only had 386 yards.
What was the time of possession? I hadn't seen
time of possession is 33 to 26. A little over 33 to 26.
Who had 33?
UC Davis.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Huh. And yeah, so
what was wild too is like it feels like their punt game didn't look like anything they did all year. Like,
no,
there was so like they definitely were not gonna let Bergen do his thing. Like
yeah,
smart on them, but they actually one team was like, "Yep, nope, we see how good he is. We're just not. We're gonna change our scheme up completely," and they did. And good on them. Like
yeah, so Land Larison got 147 yards total. Which
I didn't realize he was such a good steer wrestler. Like he could have done that instead of playing football.
How many times did we have to do that?
They talked about that a lot.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to be in the NFR and freaking.
Oh my gosh. And why is it? Why? And I know that we were losing, so they're not going to talk about us.
Yeah.
Why is it this year that it's always the opponent that people are talking about and not us?
Yeah, it's sure.
It's with that. With
I keep trying to tell myself: is it because I'm a Grizz fan that I'm thinking that, or is it just? But I think it's right. I think it's just like, man, we cannot catch a break on the announcers. Like, yeah,
it was just weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
guys, let's kind of go over some of the other stats here. Let's see. Their average punt was only 37 yards. Just oh my gosh, some of these just it just like it just kills me to see it 6 of 16 on third down for both of us.
Yeah.
They were, which I don't think that they have the fourth down conversions because I believe UC Davis had a couple of those, and it says 0 for 0 on here.
Yeah, I thought they had at least or all those fourth downs where they kicked the field goals. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but didn't they go that one that Larison got? Wasn't that a 3rd and 20, and then he got like 15, and then they went on for it on fourth down?
Yeah,
or maybe it was a second. Maybe it was a 2nd and 20. I don't know.
I thought it was 3rd and 17, then it was 4th and 2. But I mean, maybe. Although some of the stats have not been correct this year, like we showed, they had, was it Lawler as the quarterback when it was Ayat?
They did get that fixed. I checked that individual, and they do actually have Ayat on there this week. It only took them 2 weeks, but they do have Ayat's picture on there, not Lawler. Yeah. Let's talk about the O-line real quick. With UC Davis running what they ran, they consistently got pressure with rushing for. And man alive.
Well, we were running a lot of like the zone blocking schemes, and it can create holes, especially when you're doing that for guys to run through if you're not fast enough to get on their hip, and we were missing them. And then I think too, like I think it felt like people were calling the wrong blocking assignments, which is it's so unusual for a Grizz team to be making mistakes on offense and defense like this in November.
Yeah.
Usually it's the opposite. We see that crap in like September, but by November, we're tightened up and we're playing like, some of our best football. Maybe not all 4 quarters, but we're playing 3 quarters really good and maybe, a half a quarter. But this was like, man, bad.
It really, and I think I told you this too, it really feels like the year, I think it was 2018, wasn't it? Or 2019, the SEMO year.
The SEMO year, yeah, you said that.
Like how we just kind of limped into the playoffs. And
then that SEMO game, shoot, we were
struggling
the first half, then we came back. I mean, I was at that game. It was fun. A fun game in the second half, but it does have that same type of
the feel
for that.
We're talking about field now.
Well, I mean, and so let's talk about the playoffs, because like we beat, let's say we beat Portland State.
Yep.
If we do that, we're in the playoffs. We're probably playing Thanksgiving.
We will. I did it. If you guys, sorry to interrupt you, Luke.
Oh, you're good.
If you guys really want a in-depth podcast episode, go listen to Sam Herders. He has a interview with the NDSU Larson and then the NCA guy, Ty something. It's very insightful. They talk about how they're going to be seeding teams and how they put them in quadrants of 4 polling and how they vote on them, and they have to get a certain percentage for them to get them to a seed. And it's very interesting, very insightful in how they do it. So if you guys are really wanting to know what's going to happen,
it's definitely going to change the playoffs up a lot this year, where you're not going to have that regional bias.
Because they said 1 through 8 are going to have home field.
Right. Yeah.
So if you see like a Tarleton or a Central Arkansas, that's 7, and we are a number 11, and we play them, we're not going to get a second home field.
No,
game.
we'll get. That's what I was going with. We're going to get a home game. Like let's say we beat Portland State.
Yep.
And we don't know what's going to happen the next weekend, but if we look like this, we know what's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen. Yeah.
But so that's still going to give us, as long as we beat Portland, it's going to give us a home game during Thanksgiving against somebody. Okay. Yep. But then that's it. We're on the road from then on.
Yep.
Like, because of that. Now
it's hard to win in the FCS playoffs on the road.
Yeah, it is. And so now, best case scenario, we beat Portland State. We find magic and miracles happen, and we beat Bozeman and Bozeman.
Fairy dust, yeah.
If that happens, then we're going to be in the top 8. Like
we would,
It would just because of where they're at. No matter what happens to them this weekend against Davis, either like they're like. Whoever wins that game is just going to like if Davis beats the Cats, they're going to go up to like 2 and they're going to go down to 4. That's all that's going to happen. Like, it's
Well,
not
this is epitome for that. This next game is for the Big Sky
Oh
Championship.
yeah. This is for the conference championship
Yeah.
right now. This weekend, the
Yep.
Kitties and Davis, and I'm, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, I root for Montana. Yeah, f that.
No way in
I hope
hell.
Davis wins. I'm rooting for Land Larison, the
Yep.
bull steer wrestling dude, and the rest of them, Hastings and all of them. I'm like, beat the crap out of those jackoffs.
Beat them by 30.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yep.
This Davis to win the Big Sky Conference Championship now. I'm the biggest Davis fan there is out there. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's still that possibility of us getting a bye. First thing first, we got to beat Portland, and it's going to be tough to beat Portland State. Like
this Portland State, this Portland State team is not as
they
look.
No, they looked awful at the beginning of the season. They've consistently gotten better, and better and better. They should have beat Davis. Like they beat Davis.
They beat Davis.
They got hosed.
Yeah, and they probably should have beat Idaho. Yeah. I watched that game and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
There's some things that if we're not playing our best, man, this could be a kind of a weird game.
Yeah. Well, do you got any more thoughts on this Davis game before we get into Portland?
It's just sad. Like
it's frustrating.
It is really frustrating because without everything that happened, I gotta give Bergen some props. 6 receptions, 92 yards. He really worked out there. He was playing hurt all game. I really got to say great job with the defense. They kept us in it.
Our D line and linebackers played really well this game. They were fighting fits and they did really good. And
I'm so tired of the penalties though.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like just undisciplined penalties. Mataafa got one that was just like,
that was
what?
so
Like why? Why?
Why?
He's really lucky he didn't get ejected because I think he knocked a ref down, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't think he meant to, but I think the ref fell down.
I've rewatched every game this year. I didn't rewatch this one.
Oh man.
I just couldn't.
I was pacing all game. I was so dead.
Yeah, it was funny because it was in the fourth. I sat down and my daughter goes, "Dad, you never sit down." And I think she realized I was just like, "Oh crap!" Like I was starting to.
Adams got to me.
I was like, "Man, this is." Then I stood right back up. So there's one point I did want to make because there's some people out there on the internet I think that are not a lot of Grizz fans. There's a few fans out there that are like, talking crap about the players and like, do they want to win? And I just want to say like these guys want to win more than you have any idea. Like any person has any idea. Like that's all they want to do is win. Like they're giving up everything they can to do it.
Yep.
And so like I would never question that. Like they want to more than you ever do. You ever could think you'd want to win. Like that's all they want to do, and they're not going to give up. And the best thing they can do now is hopefully learn from this. Like that's what you got to do is say, okay, we sucked. How can we fix it? How can we get better? And have that mindset. Like, all right, we learned from that. Now let's go take what we learned and put it against Portland State, beat them, get a playoff spot, and see what happens from there.
Exactly.
That's the mentality you got to have. So,
well, and these are 20-year-old kids. Like, if you really are going to be and I can say things, and I'm never going to say this is the reason why they lost. Yeah. The kids are doing even if they don't do something, more than likely it's on. I'll blame the coaches before we blame the kids. It's just not okay.
We're all a bunch of spoiled Grizz fans too.
Exactly.
There's a lot of teams out there that would love to be in the position we're in, like every year, and we've got the best of facilities, we got the best fans, we got just such good things, but because of that, we have high expectations, and the players that come and play for us, they have the same expectations. Like their expectation going this season was national championship. I guarantee.
Oh yeah. So, and I have sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and then besides that was Big Sky Conference. Well, Big Sky Conference is off the table.
It is.
But we can still make the playoffs, and what happens. So right now, like I said, the mentality is let's focus on Portland State. We beat them, then let's see what happens. And we got the Cats. All right, we'll see what happens in that game. Then we have a playoff game. We see what happens. It's just you got to just try to get better and do your best. That's all we can do.
So 2 things. I want to talk to Kent Haslam right now. If you're listening to this, Kent, I know you're not.
He's not.
Okay, I know.
What if he like emailed you tomorrow? Like, you woke up and you had an email from Kent Haslam. Holy crap, he does listen.
He does listen. Kent, you got to listen to me, okay? The exiting of fans at halftime can be solved. Serve beer. It will help you in revenue, and you will not have as many people.
Well,
leave.
No, if we serve beer, I say shut it down. Like that's when I was at Northern Colorado and a lot of areas that serve beer in the stadium.
Yep.
You're not allowed to leave. You leave, you're out. And so because of that, they make more revenue. And in the end, a lot of this is all about money. So why not make more revenue?
At Northern Colorado, did they shut down the tailgates before the game?
No, we all tailgated after the game too.
Okay.
In fact, we were one of the last 2 that left the parking lot because we were celebrating that win and kept drinking. And it was us and one Northern Colorado family that I went and talked to. It was one of their D linemen. And That's so awesome. I mean, like you can still have the tailgates afterwards. It's like just shut them down during the game. So the game's over. After you win, go party as long as you want. You know.
Yeah. Yep. That just really like, oh man, it was disheartening to see in the second half the emptiness of that stadium, and then
the stadium midway, so good in the first half.
I know, right?
Killing it. Fans were killing it.
Even on the ESPN broadcast, they're like, "Oh, the fireworks are going off, telling people to get back to their seats." Blah blah blah. And then they pan to the stadium, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it is empty." And then in the fourth quarter, people were leaving. And then if that is not a sign for the coaching staff to change something and get it right, that is your barometer. I know that I had to drive back because I didn't have ESPN2, so I had to drive back. So I did leave with like 3 minutes to go in the game because I'm like, I want to drive. I had to drive. So yes, I was one of those. If I was at the stadium, I would have stayed. But that's beyond the point. This can be solved. I just think that there's got to be some in-depth look with the coaching staff, and to solve this. It can be solved.
Do you think
in 2
weeks. You got another guy? There was a former NFL head coach of Linehan. I would hope that Bobby is humble enough to go, "Hey, you got any ideas?
Yeah.
What do you think here? Like, you got such good minds. Like any good leader will ask for help, like, and say, hey, that's why you surround yourself with the best people.
Well,
like the best head coaches, I think they're good leaders, and they just surround themselves with the best people, and they go, all right, you guys run this. I'll just be the face. Like,
yeah.
So.
And to a point, he's done that. He's done that to a point. His second stint, he's had great coaches.
Yeah.
And so
we still do have really good coaches. Like
we still have really
good coaches. So
I just think it's an ego thing, and I think it needs to be. I don't know. It's not.
Sometimes you wish you could be that fly on the wall inside his office.
Oh, I would love it.
Their meetings just to see. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting. We got one home game left for sure. Let's make it a good one. And so, like, fans too, let's get out and like stay and have a great time. And especially like this weekend, senior day. Like they're gonna, that's really cool. They're gonna, honor all the seniors before the game, which I know people have questions. Is Racanelli going to come back next year? Is he not? Because there's a few guys that have those COVID years.
Yep.
So we'll see.
You got Racanelli. I wonder if
a lot of people are questioning Grossman too. Like, will he only get another year if he applies for it, or
and I'm going to look that up.
Dr. Grossman.
I don't think he can.
I don't think he can either
because he's had his
He's had his gray shirt, his red shirt, his COVID shirt,
and I think he's had a gray shirt, and I think he's had a blue shirt as well. And I'm trying to be very serious.
There's gray and red shirts, but he's had both of those.
Oh, okay. There's no blue shirt.
I was telling you that. I was like, there's got to be another color that we can make a shirt.
Gray, blue. Okay, I'm trying to look at it. He's 11, right? Yeah, he's 11.
Yep. But I mean, he could be Dr. Grossman by now.
I know, right?
Which I just feel it is so excited to have him back. I felt so bad for him when he dropped that ball.
Oh, I know.
He wanted that so bad. Like he had it and looked because he was going downfield, and it's like, that I'm sure he's still thinking about it. Like I could have just looked that in, and again, one of those moments in the game that's first down, and we're driving, and instead we were punting. So
all right, so he was a gray shirt in 2018.
Yep.
Freshman year 2019. Red shirt freshman in 2020, 2021.
Yeah, because that's the COVID year.
Red shirt sophomore in 22. Red shirt junior in 2023. Red shirt senior this year.
7th year. This is his 7th year.
Yeah, he's not going to get another year.
So there's only one guy I know of, and it was an FBS that got an 8th year.
Yeah.
That he applied for it. Like you have to apply, and they have to it's like medical hardship or something like that. Which he could, but I doubt it. I don't know. We'll find out. I just, he's back. So let's just, man, I hope he just lights it up. Like like give him some shots, let him light it up.
Yep. Well, and it's interesting because
maybe he'll be the X factor against the Cats, and that'll win us the game because he'll just have I don't know.
That'd be awesome. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think that'd be awesome.
I don't know yet. Right now, I would tell you, I'm really nervous about that one.
Going into that game, I give us right now, what percentage based off of this last game would you give us?
Of winning?
Yeah.
37%.
37? Are you just saying it because it's 37?
I'm actually thinking like 19%. So.
Oh, I would say 5.
I'd say like 19.
Wow.
Because it's still okay, so I'll admit too, I still don't know who the Cats are 100%. Like, if they go down to Davis and smoke Davis, I'm going to be really nervous. Then I'll say 5. But if they go down and Davis beats them more than they beat us or something, then I'm going to start feeling better. And if we take care of Portland State, I'm going to start feeling a lot better about that game. Because, again, it's the rivalry game. I just wish it was in our house because that would make me feel even more better. The fact that it's down in the litter box, that makes me nervous because lately that series, whoever's at home seems to be winning the damn game and having the advantage. So
Yep.
That makes me a bit nervous. So, and the fact that they're just, I just, that's so frustrating meeting Cat fans because, boy, if you meet a Cat fan, which I did this weekend, ran into one, they're the greatest thing. They're going to go undefeated all the way to Frisco. And I just listened. So.
Good job. You just listened. That's awesome.
I was the guy had probably a little liquid courage in him because I was at a beer fest and he was telling me how great they were. And I think I had like one little sip of beer and I had just gotten there. And he stopped me to buy his stuff and just came beeline and I went, oh crap. And so I just listened and was like, well, good luck. See you in the brawl. So according to him, like I said, they're going to win it all and they're not going to lose a game. It's like, okay, well, good luck with all that. Good luck with South Dakota State and North Dakota State, pal.
Yeah, you haven't played nobody yet.
No.
So let's get into Portland State.
Sure. Sounds good.
So let's go through their schedule so far, guys.
Okay.
What is Portland State? So they played Washington State this year. They lost 70 to 30. Whew.
Yeah.
In Pullman. Then they played Weber State, which this is just crazy how Weber State's just fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
They lost to Weber State 43 to 16.
Yeah. That was when Weber was ranked and
they were ranked number 24. Yep.
Yeah.
South Dakota, that next game, they got canceled. The whooping cough.
Whooping cough game. Yeah.
Yep. They went and played Boise State at Boise State, 56 to 14.
Yeah.
Then went and played Chattanooga at Chattanooga, lost 45 to 30, which Chattanooga is a decent team. out of I think that's the SoCon, right? Same as Furman and Western Carolina.
So I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody, like, how could we be so bad? And I was like, look at Furman this year, too. Like, they're worse.
Oh, yeah.
Furman. I keep seeing their record. I'm just going, what happened to those guys? They were good last year. Like,
yeah,
you and I had to eat some crow on that game because we were kind of talking, and they freaking showed up, and they were a good team. And that's one of my biggest surprises this year is Furman this year.
Yeah.
Like, that just blows me away. So sorry. I forgot. I'd been wanting to mention that because I was just like, I've been watching other FCS teams, and that's one of my biggest surprises this year. I really thought that they would be decent still, and I think they've only won 2 games.
Yeah, well, and they lost their quarterback. They lost.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a lot of people, but still, like,
so
it felt like they would reload or not be a 2-win team. Like, that just surprises me. So,
but that SoCon league is pretty tough. You've got Wofford, you've got Chattanooga, you've got Western Carolina.
Who's making a lot of noise, Western Carolina, is they're playing well.
And they've got Mercer in there as well, who's been doing really well. And so that next week, guys, they played – this is the game. This is the crazy game. UC Davis, they lost to UC Davis 27-26, which should be an asterisk because they actually won that game.
Yeah.
Ridiculous call. If you have not seen that game, go win that game. Well, go watch that game. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they had given him a second back after they missed it, and then they threw a touchdown where the guy catches it. His feet are inbound in the end zone, but the ball never crosses the plane. And they give it. But again, that's why the Big Sky need cameras right down the damn.
Yeah, they do.
End zone.
Yes, they do. That next week they go to Pocatello. They beat Idaho State 42-38. They go to they're home versus the Kitties, and got beat 44-14.
Yeah, that one got ugly.
Yep. Then they have Sac State, which this is a crazy game. 58-38 win against Sac State.
Yeah, and Sac's they are just struggling.
Man alive.
Right? That's another team that surprised me. I thought they'd be better this year, and they just
it has not been good.
So bad for them.
Yeah, they do. Last week, guys, they played Idaho. Very competitive game. They lost 39-30.
Yeah, they get. Well, I think Idaho's kind of down a little bit. Like
Idaho can't get a quarterback to stay healthy.
They're kind of not playing the greatest football either, and Portland seems to be getting better. That's why I think like this is gonna be a good game. Like the beginning of the year, I thought, oh great, a good easy game before the brawl, and this is not. We got to fight in front of us. So
yeah, this is definitely gonna be a lot closer,
especially since you got Barney and Robbie on one side.
Yep,
and you got Bobby and
Barnum on the other side.
Barnum on this side.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's
Barnum.
So it makes it more interesting.
It's Barnum Senior Day. It's also the first time.
Is Barney going to walk out with his son?
I don't know.
There's been a question about that.
You would think he would.
His mom is for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And the cool thing is, like Bobby and him are friends, like they're buddies.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure Bobby's like, if you want to, we don't care. Go, it's your son. Go on. So it would be interesting to see if that happens. Like if Barney's like, hey, I gotta go, or if he's in coach mode. If he's like, let me go to be a dad for a second. So interesting. Cooper.
Yeah, and Cooper Barnum. Yep. I believe that's the first time that Robbie's been back as well. So.
Yeah, because
it'll be interesting.
We play him over there last year.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So what jersey is Stacy going to be wearing? Most likely the Grizz.
Probably the Grizz. I would hope so. Some statistics, guys, of Portland State. They're averaging about 28.9 points a game with 44 for the opponents. They're getting more rushing first downs than passing from 84 to 73. Their rushing yardage is about 184 yards per game. Passing yards is pretty close, 194.4. Man alive, they can gash you on those pass plays. They throw it.
Yeah,
bomb.
Sashere loves to bomb it.
Yeah.
And he's got such a weird throwing motion. Like he
Yeah.
kind of like sidearms it, ducks it
Yep.
out there. And but he hits his guys. Like
He does.
they love going deep. So we gotta we gotta have our assignments and can't get the deep play. So I'm hoping we run some zone again. Like don't run man, run zone, run 3 deep zone to take that away. And then the other thing is Sastre runs the ball damn good too. Like they run these.
I know, right?
Their offense runs all these counters and misdirections, which worries me because we've struggled with that.
We've been suckers for that.
Over pursuing and thinking, oh, it's a run. When crap, it's a pass, and whole thing's going this way, and there's the guy going the other direction.
And if we over pursue with this game, like he's gonna run right over us. He's gonna run. He's so quick and so elusive that the tackling is gonna come back up. We're gonna be over pursuing, not in our lane.
Running quarterback we've faced this year.
I would say he probably is.
I think he's the best running quarterback we're gonna face this year.
Well, other than probably Milan.
Well, no, so far this year.
Yeah. I think Milan's probably a better runner.
Yeah, we haven't played him yet, so that's why I'm saying since that we've played this year, I think this will be the best quarterback until we get to Tommy. But yeah, no, I mean he's just like power run, like he's their offense. So
yeah. Third down percentage, guys. Time of possession. Sorry, they're at 31 minutes, just a little over 31 minutes to 28 for opponents. Third down percentage, they're at 46%, but they are at 62% on fourth down. They're 8 of 13 on fourth down, so they are going to be probably going to be going for it on fourth down.
Well, and that's just it. I think Barney's going to do because they have nothing to play for.
No, they don't.
But this would be huge for him to get this win, and in Grizz on Senior Day and all that stuff. Yeah. You're going to hear jokes about it from, I think, both sides about the Thanksgiving table this year and who's going to have the upper hand. And so, like, if I'm Portland State, I'm going to take every stop out I can out of the book and throw everything out. What do you got to lose? Who cares?
Absolutely nothing.
So that's the thing I'm worried about is, like, we got to be ready for all sorts of weird shit and that's what worries me, too, is that's what screwed us this last game was those trick plays that UC Davis ran. That's what the plays that we had the hardest time with. And so if they start doing all these counters and reverse and weird stuff with Sastre just to do everything they can to win, that could not work out well for us.
Oh, and that's been all year. That's been something that's been happening to the Grizz all year long with
gadget plays and stuff. Yeah. That's when we make our biggest mistakes, it feels like.
Yeah. Red zone scores, they're about 90%. Their opponents are 95%. So, guys, this is a very young defense that Portland State has. They've got a lot of up-and-coming, sophomores and stuff that are playing. Their defense is not great. And so that you can kind of see that with their schedule.
That's a lot of points have been put up.
A lot of points are being put up, but they have to put up points as well, and they can do that. And so it's crazy.
But I guess the one the one good thing is our defense has been playing better, I feel.
Yeah.
We've seen improvement from that from I guess from Weber on. I felt like each week we're getting better, and even though we lost this week and gave up 30, I still felt like there was a lot of good things we saw from our defense out there.
Yeah. So this is a crazy thing. So it has a breakdown of points for the opponents.
Yeah.
By quarter. So the opponents in the second quarter have scored 155 points on them.
Holy cow.
That's almost half of the points total for the whole year.
So second quarter is where you got to make your money.
So so the first is 95. Second is 155. Third is 60. And fourth is 90.
Well, that makes me nervous. I feel like our best quarters have been in the third quarter this year.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
that's interesting. That's an interesting stat line.
And so their best scoring are in the second and in the fourth. So fourth is 81 and second is 78.
So in the second, when they're getting scored on a bunch, they're scoring too.
They're scoring about half the time.
They're going punch for punch in the second.
They're trying to. It's not
Yeah.
really. It's not punch per punch. It's
Right.
like a punch,
That's
punch, and then half a punch.
right. Yeah.
So, let's kind of look at some of their quarterback play. Chachere, he is
Dante
one.
Sacre.
Dante Chachere. Yep, he is
Is
rushing.
he a senior?
I believe he is.
I think he's a senior. It feels like he's been there forever. To me.
Yeah, I believe he is. He's their leading rusher and their leading passer.
Yep.
He has 637 yards this year on the ground, 12 touchdowns on the ground, 70 yards a game average. But he's also passing. He's 124 of 210, 59%. Not that accurate, but he's been more accurate than I think he has been all his career.
Yeah.
12
Like I said,
touchdowns
he throws
passing and
ducks up
181
there
average.
and stuff, but
Oh
like
yeah.
they're accurate ducks. Like he gets them to his guys. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of the guys to kind of look out for, I've got to look at their roster because their statistics aren't really like it's like a PDF. I think it's the Quincy Craig, who's number 17.
Yeah.
He is got some speed, and he also is their kick return. Yeah, Quincy Craig. He's their running back / wide receiver. So they're using him as a running back. They also use him as a wide receiver. They also use him as their punt returner and kick returner. He is quick. You possibly could be seeing the Grizz get scored on a kick return or a punt return if our special teams aren't kind of solidified, because he is quick.
I thought our special teams played pretty well, actually. Like
I
feel
did
like
too.
their tackling and stuff and pursuit is way better than it was at the beginning of the year. So I'm feeling much better about our special teams like play.
Yeah.
So.
And then your
running back's pretty decent too, I think.
24, right? 24 is Dion Thompson. He's a freshman out of Newberry. Yeah, out of Newberry, California. 5'9", 200. Really good for a freshman. He's doing really well. And I think he hasn't been really they have a lot of other guys that they put back there, but the last game that I saw, he was the guy with that Quincy Craig. The Quincy Craig is their we'll see here. Sorry, my thing's going all sorts of. So the Dion Thompson is their second leading rusher. He's got 534 yards this year on the ground, and then they have Quincy Craig that's got 375. And so between Chachere, their freshman, and then that Quincy Craig, those are their three running people.
Gotcha. Well, in Chachere, like we said, they love running him.
Yeah, they do.
Like he's their top rusher. So
yep. And then you've got Brandon Alvarez and Quincy Craig as your wide receivers. Brandon Alvarez got 453 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 50-yard average, with Quincy Craig averaging 253, and he's got 5 touchdowns as well. So it's going to be interesting on how we guard them, because they can sling it, they can run it, but it's almost like that. It's like make you sleep, and then all of a sudden it's like bam.
Yeah, that's like, because you never know if he's going to run it or not.
Yeah,
so it's like you gotta keep 6 in the box, and but be ready for those, because it's like they're running verts, and so as soon as you commit to the run, boom, that's when they're catching you sleeping and they're hitting you. So,
and their offensive line is not good.
That's why, I think if we could pressure him, and just get to the ball, and if we
he does not like to be pressured at all.
No, and if we can stay home and kind of keep him contained, like where we're not, if we blow it up, there's a hole and everybody's running downfield in man and they're not looking back, that's where he crushes with the run. The pocket breaks down. So it's like we almost have. That's why I think we need to play zone and then just blitz the shit out of him.
Yeah. Yep, I think so too. It's going to just be really important that we have we don't over pursue and we stay in our gaps, because if we don't, man, there's going to be some plays that he breaks off.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry is just that those plays that he could possibly break. So
yeah. Like I said, their defense is not something that I'm worried about. It is not. It's gotten better over the year because they've had probably one of the hardest schedules.
yeah,
In
that's
the
I think.
FCS.
Well, I think Houck on the presser said that they've had one of the hardest ones, or at least
Yeah,
the hardest at the beginning.
yeah, and I think that they were ranked number one for a while there. I don't know what it is now, but
Yeah,
I did see a graphic that they were like number one just based off of who they had to play and where they played them as well. So
yeah,
that might skew that defensive numbers a little bit when you're playing two FBS and an FCS away from your place. So
yeah. Well, I think getting back to our defense, Hayden Harris
yeah,
and Noose has been. I think Noose has been a little banged up, but he
yep,
kept coming back. So I think between those two and Wilson, if we can just get them hitting him and hitting him and
yep.
hitting him, like holy cow, like that could really well. And the way he throws them ducks, like if we're getting to him, who
Gonna
knows?
be
Maybe some
interceptions.
picks and stuff. So
Yep. One
that
guy that I did not see last game was Aluski. Caleb.
I don't know if I saw him either.
And he usually plays some. And I
Yeah,
don't
I'm trying to remember.
I didn't see him at all.
Yeah, and again, usually whenever you watch it, that's when I look for all who's playing because in the moment, I'm just you're seeing who's making the plays and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
again, this is the first game I didn't rewatch. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll rewatch them.
You were like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch it again. It just made me mad. Anyways,
like I said, it was just so many mistakes. It wasn't like,
yeah.
So
I'm trying to get to the where it says if he played, but anyways, like I don't have too much, guys. I think some of the keys that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to limit those big plays and not get fooled by the circus plays. Because I think that's gonna be one of those pivotal things.
Well, I think they're gonna bring out stuff we haven't seen on film. There's a lot of film against them,
No.
but this is a game that, again, it's their Super Bowl. Coming into Washington Grizzly and if they could beat us, it would make their season. Like that would make their entire season. Especially with Robbie on staff and Barnum, Cooper on our team. There's just so much for them. So that's what we gotta, and this for us, this is another playoff game. If we want to make the playoff, we gotta win this damn game.
Yeah, if we don't win this one, it is do or die.
And like on our offense, I mean, there's a 4-man front. They're not doing a bunch of trickery and stuff. So like I feel like our offensive line should be able to run the damn ball. They're running a lot of 3 deep zone or man free. And so it's really up to the linebackers if one's going to be blitzing or not, and just us controlling that front. If we can control that line, like I feel like we should be able to, we can have a big day in offense. So
Aluski had 4 tackles, I guess, and 1 tackle for loss. He did play. Sorry, I didn't see him. So yeah, I think on defense, like what we said, stay in your lanes, and then also just run. Let's find our offensive line again. Like let's run the ball.
Exactly.
And let's pick one quarterback and let's go with that quarterback.
Yeah.
Luke and I have said on this podcast all the time who we think has the best trajectory, right? But the highest ceiling, who should play? But now you're to the point where you need to play the person that's going to get you a win because you've got to make the playoffs. If they
here's what I think they should do. Whoever has the best week of practice this week, play that guy.
There you go.
Play him until he play him, and it either wins the game or play him until it's so obvious that you're not there, and then put the other guy in and play him.
Yeah.
But pick a guy, play him, and don't play the other guy until we're blowing him out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like that's my opinion. So I don't care which one, pick one.
Well, it's you've got to. Like this is enough of the games, enough of this. It's
Happy
just
horseshit.
Yeah, it is time. This running a 2-back quarterback system, you've seen that, or you've shown that it doesn't work.
I think it works when they're 2 different people, but like we keep saying, they're the same.
But what to the what point though? Like it.
Like here's what I'm saying. Like
teams
if
that
you're all of a
run
sudden down in the red zone, and you're like, we need to run this ball hard, and you bring in your giant quarterback that looks like Taysom Hill and the Saints, like that's like that point or something, or like this guy's like Tim Tebow and he's just gonna run it in.
Yep.
And you don't want to get your guy hurt, so you're like, okay, we're gonna put the big guy in. And everybody knows what we're gonna do. We don't care. We're gonna pound it at you.
Exactly.
That's
NDSU does.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but this 2 quarterback system where you're going every other series, no one wins championships.
No,
that way. And you're Montana. You're about winning championships.
Yeah. Exactly.
So get back to that and quit playing around.
Yeah.
I think we had some questions.
Oh, I didn't see any. So
didn't you? Okay.
I didn't look on Grizz, but I didn't see any on the Twitter out there. Let me look. One thing I will say is I'll just give everybody an update on this. So I personally thought we would drop down to like 12 or 14. I was just disappointed. But here's where the stats poll is at right now. The Kitties are still at 2nd. Davis stays at 4. Idaho is at 8th right now. We dropped down to 10th. And Northern Arizona moved back up into the polls at 25th this week. So there are 5 Big Sky teams in the top 25 this week.
Interesting. Idaho is still 7 or 8?
Yeah, they moved up to 8.
How?
They're 7-3 also, and it's because we took the loss, so we fell down again. I mean, even though there's such a thing as a good loss. Yeah, Davis is the real deal though. Like that's why I think the Cats are going to have their hands full.
I thought we had some, but we don't have any questions. So
yeah, I was going to say I didn't think I saw any.
Okay.
So,
well, you ready for predictions?
I am.
Okay. What's yours?
Well, do you want the? I've got both of them written down here, but I was going to give you the verses.
Okay.
I'm just going to check one thing here real quick because since we were talking about Davis and the Cats, I was just going to look to see what verses says there because I'm just curious because I think Davis is legit.
It's being played at Davis, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to run the simulation right now, and verses says, they got the Cats winning 29-24. But it's going to be, according to verses, it's going to be tight.
What time is that game at?
Oh, that is a good.
Is that a late game?
I know our game is at 1 p.m. this weekend.
Okay.
Let's see here. What is that? The 16th?
Yes.
Yeah, our game is at 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus as usual. Gosh, if I could get this to move a little faster. Okay. So we got Portland State at Montana, Northern Arizona at Northern Colorado. We got Idaho State playing Eastern Washington, Sac State playing Cal Poly.
Oh.
And then Montana State at Davis at 6 p.m. So
that's a 6 p.m. tip-off.
Yeah, we could watch that. And then Weber State's playing Idaho at 6 p.m. also.
So, Weber State's playing who?
Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Also at 6.
Wow.
But it looks like
Weber
every game's on ESPN.
Holy cow.
What?
Weber State has fallen so much.
Yeah, they're struggling. So yeah, my plan, I guess, is I'm going to watch that. Watch our game, and actually, no, I'm not going to watch our game this weekend. I forgot. I have to watch it like that night recorded. My daughter is in.
I was like, you're not watching the game, what?
Yeah, right? I'm not watching the game. No, so my folks are actually driving over from Montana to Rapid City, South Dakota. My daughter is in the Hansel and Gretel play at her.
Oh, that's awesome.
High school, and so we have that starts at 2. So rather than watching like a little bit, like the play starts at 2, so we're already gonna be in there.
Yeah,
and then there's a second showing that night because I'm gonna go to both at 7, and so I'm not gonna watch any football on Saturday. It's gonna be like at 9:00 at night. I'm gonna turn it on, so no texting me. I'm just gonna shut my phone off basically.
So you'll probably be watching it the time that I watch it, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to be watching it late Saturday night. So, like, people that have texted me usually during the game, if you're like, why isn't Luke responding to like my messages on Facebook or my text? It's because I'm at my daughter's Hansel and Gretel play, which is going to be freaking awesome. She has like 3 parts. She plays a troll, and then
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow.
It's going to be exciting. So I'll be at that, and then I'll be watching the game late that night, avoiding every social media that I can because I don't want to know. You know, so
That's awesome.
I'll have this like feeling though in the play, like, oh, we won. I can feel it. This gut feeling. So, yeah. Anyways, just so people know, those of you that listen, that sometimes shoot messages during the game and that we answer. That's why, because gonna watch. It'll be fun. Me and my dad are gonna watch it late that night.
That's awesome.
He's gonna be in town, so actually it'll be our whole family. It's gonna be like she'll get out. My daughter will probably be exhausted and go to bed because it's 2 performances. But I'm sure like me, my dad, my mom, my wife will all watch it on the big screen downstairs later that night. So
that's awesome.
It'll be fun.
Well, here's the standings, guys. You got the Kitties at 6-0, UC Davis at 6-0, and then you've got a log jam at 4-2, right? You've got Idaho, Montana, Northern Arizona, all at 4-2, and you've got Idaho State at 3-3, Eastern Washington at 2-4, Weber State at 2-4, Portland State at 2-4, and then you've got Sacramento State, Cal Poly, and Northern Colorado that all have one Big Sky win.
There's a lot of everybody's been beating up on each other this year. Like, yeah. Huh.
So
interesting.
It'll be interesting. What's really interesting, guys, is they do. Sam Herder does those mock playoff.
Oh yeah, playoff. Yeah,
and man, there's going to be a side of the bracket that you want to be on.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you get to that side, it is going to be interesting
until you get to the end.
Yeah, and then the 4. Yeah,
but who knows? Sometimes you can get rolling when it gets to the playoffs. You know,
you can
momentum and stuff. You just never know.
You can. So,
all right, predictions for the game. Versus has the Grizz winning 45-31.
Oh, really? 45-31.
That's what Versus has. My prediction, I have the Grizz winning 34-24.
Oh, yours is really close to mine. I have 35-21.
Gotcha. I like your score better. I feel like my 24, I feel like the defense could do better than that, not give up that many points. But again, it's a prove it to me. And what worries me is Sashere running the ball and hitting us with those big plays. And then like we said, the trick plays. Like those.
Yours is 34-24?
34-24, yep.
Okay.
Got one by 10. It worries me with those damn trick plays that we've had problems with all year that, I'm like, prove it to me. I hope we just demolish them, but like,
I did too.
After this if we had beat Davis, I'd been like saying, we're going to win 42-10 or something like that. But boy, that performance last weekend, we need to shore it up. So
it'll be interesting how we react, right? Because after every loss this year, we've reacted in a way that we've bounced back, right?
Yeah, you have a couple choices here. You can either just feel sorry for yourself, or you can get your ass off the floor and go kick someone else's ass. So that's what I hope happens. Like we need to get up, and just pound the shit out of these guys and win.
That's right.
So, all right, I'm getting fired up. Man, I know that's how the guys are feeling. They're like, they want. You're hungry. You're pissed that you had a shitty performance.
Yep.
You want to go out there and show Grizz Nation and the nation that, hey, that's not us. This is us. And especially if you can do that, take that momentum going to the brawl. So that's what I want.
Well, that's important. We've got to have this is do or die, right? This is a do or die time.
Playoff game right now.
It's
we have
the
to win
first
this
playoff game.
So
So guys, like we always say, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It helps us get us out there. One more thing, Luke says.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No problem.
Forgot.
No problem.
So this is our last home game of the year.
Yep.
Like official home game before playoffs. If we can get ahead, there is a great shot. You are going to see some new people out there, some freshmen.
Yeah, that'd be
other
awesome.
Things like, and then too, with some of the people that are banged up or some injuries we have, who knows who you might see out there. So just be watching for some of those guys you may have not seen to make a spark or make a splash out there.
I'm hoping Davis, the wide receiver Davis, gets out there.
I have a really good feeling about that.
I do too. I just think that's going to happen.
Finoti too, like,
Yep.
but yeah, I think we're going to see. I think Brooks is going to get out there. I have a good feeling about that.
Yeah, I hope so. I think he's been playing. Hasn't he been playing special teams, or is he? He's been on the scout team.
Who's that? Yeah, Brooks.
Davis.
Yeah, he's been killing on scout. I know he's got scout team. So like, just those that don't know, when you get scout team player of the week, they give you a lunchbox because you're coming to work every day with your lunchbox.
That's awesome. Is it like one that they give you?
Yeah, you have your lockers like a little trophy because you're the lunchbox guy, and I know that he's won it a few times, and that's badass. So
that's awesome.
The guys like that have been kicking ass in the scout team. This is the game they're going to get their shot to come out there, especially now. That's why I love the new rule. The four games you don't burn your red shirt.
Yep.
It's like, man, what good? I mean, to get them excited and stuff, get them out there and give them a shot. You know, you never know. So,
man,
especially when they're improving themselves week in and week out on the scout team.
Exactly. So, got to play those guys. Reward those guys.
Hell yeah.
That's why we got to get. This has got to be a big, huge, just like slaughter.
Shellacking.
Shellacking.
Beat the crap out of them. We'll call. I want to come back next week, and the title of the pod will be the Shellacking.
The Shellac.
How cool would that be? Hell yeah. I'm feeling so much better now. Like, I've dumped that game. I'm on to Portland State. Let's go kick their butt.
I'm worried about this game.
I'm not anymore. I hate my score. We're gonna win 42-24 now.
42-24. Okay.
There you go.
You want 42-24 now?
Put it down. 42-24. I'm changing my score. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay, I'll leave 30. I'll leave 34 on there for you, just in case.
Okay. I put an asterisk.
I'll put an asterisk.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm getting fired up again.
Well, guys, like we said, rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. That helps us out tremendously to get us out into the algorithm land, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. YouTube, you can find us on the YouTube FCS Fans Nation podcast network. That's right. Yeah. Those neighbor fans love this face.
Oh, yeah.
And so give us a review there. We love hearing from you guys. We hear it's probably twice a week that we get something from you guys that listen.
I love the comments on Facebook. Like, we appreciate that. Like, when people are saying different things, it's like, we love it. Like, it makes us feel good and makes us want to keep doing it. And we'd probably still do it even if you didn't, but it's awesome. We really appreciate it that people like listening to us. So.
It is definitely one of those things that is something that you look forward to. And, you know, Luke and I send it to each other back and forth saying this is awesome. So definitely get a hold of us, guys. If you guys have different opinions than us, we would love to hear them. Because, you know, maybe we saw something that you saw something that we didn't see. So definitely get a hold of us. You guys can get a hold of us on Facebook and Instagram.
I know
some
Twitter,
of you like Fight on Montana.
Some people, when they're listening to it, I can tell because all of a sudden I'll start getting messages because they're listening to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you must be listening to it. Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I'm like, cool. Like, that's awesome. Thanks for listening. And so it's like live commenting. You know,
that's awesome.
If we can, we try to reply right away and stuff. So.
Exactly.
Like I love giving gratitude. So
yes,
you know, I'm gonna say that I'm grateful for like all the people that listen to it and give us like feedback and talk to us and stuff. And I'm grateful for Adam for having this pod because it's fun to do. So
well, I couldn't do it without you, man. Literally couldn't do it without you. So guys, rate, review, subscribe out there. We will see you guys next week. Hopefully we have a win and we will be going and talking about the brawl. So shellacking. We'll see you guys next week. Go Grizz.
Go Grizz.